He was receiving bunny ears from John Daigle during the heart of COVID. I believe that was the last time he was on. But we're bringing the big dog, Evan Silva from Establish the Run, back on today. We're going to compare some of his ranks to ADP, fire off some hot takes, and of course, let him air any grievances he has to the spreadsheet socialists and the goddamn ship chasers. Let's do it. Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase. Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally this boys. You're right.
There you go. You're still in the cold open there, getting the Daigle bunny ears. Evan Silva, how are you doing? Welcome to Ship Chasing.
Doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me. We did do the Family Feud show.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was
That
a
was-
blast. And I
was
feel
very,
like it was kind of a hit. Like
It
people
was.
liked it. I had no idea what I was doing, but we powered through.
And you know what? I'd been texting you for a while, wanted to get you on Ship Chasing. We finally made it work. I thought we were going to be special. And then you've been on every fucking podcast in existence this week. And now I don't feel so special, Evan.
I've been on a couple.
It's 2014 again. Silva's just making the rounds.
Oh my gosh.
Every single podcast.
Yeah, those were the days right there.
You talking to any Jarvis Landry? You and Reeves? I literally remember walking around New York, probably 2015, listening to you guys talk, like Jarvis Landry, DeMarco Murray. Those were the days.
What's been new? You kind of you feeling the excitement, the buzz for the 2025 season now?
Yeah, I am. I listened to your guys' ADP chasing podcast the other day with Jacob and Davis. I thought it was really good. Just getting back into letting fantasy football consume my life is kind of what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. And doing content and doing drafts and listening to fantasy football and real life football podcasts and. Locking in, man. We got a bunch of news today. The Rashee Rice stuff, Mike Williams retiring. We're starting to ramp up, no question.
Yeah, we should hit on that because that has been the hot topic today with the Rashee Rice stuff. Have you already been fiddling with your ranks? How are you handling that?
I have not made any official alterations yet, but I'm going to do it right after this show. I like to kind of let the dust settle a little bit. Read some different opinions about it. It seems right now 3 to 4 game suspension is maybe the likeliest outcome for Rashee Rice. And then, I think that everyone is going to have Xavier Worthy as the obvious beneficiary. I also think that they could shift some more than they maybe planned to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had the highest targets per route run last year when Rashee Rice was out. They still have Juju Smith-Schuster. So if they just want to do a 1-for-1 slot receiver swap, and listen, I'm not trying to talk up Juju Smith-Schuster, but in terms of just like from a playing time standpoint, they could kind of plug and play Juju Smith-Schuster for Rashee Rice for those first 3 or 4 games.
Pat, have you guys made an official adjustment in the leg up ranks?
We have, yeah. And, I'm talking all this nostalgia. I honestly didn't think, I said 2015. I guess it's 2017. We got Evan Silva touting Juju Smith-Schuster.
Took 4 minutes to get to Juju. So where did you guys put him?
Juju's still unranked, but we moved Worthy up. Let me pull up exactly where we have everybody. The Worthy was I think the biggest beneficiary, and one where I feel like it kind of changes maybe his like season long outlook. 'Cause like with Kelce, right? Like the question is he washed? Like he's either totally washed or he's not totally washed, and it's like that doesn't really matter if Rice plays in the beginning of the season or not. Obviously, like Kelce's going to see a bunch of targets early now, but if he's washed, he's washed. But Worthy, I feel like we now know that they're going to incorporate him as their number one wide receiver for some stretch of the season. And that's just like a really good thing to happen if you're a second year receiver. And he could run with that opportunity. So I think Worthy like benefits from this in a way that no one else does. We have him up to 39 right now. It's possible that that's still a little low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rice down to 42.
Okay.
In the underdog ranks. Moved Marquise Brown a little bit up, but we're still pretty bearish on him. Travis Kelce moves up. Kelce, I think you could talk about. He's such a tough click, but I think in the 80s now seems fine to me.
Where are you on that, Silva? Of course, I know it's a lot of baggage when we discuss Travis Kelce, considering his relationship with your favorite Taylor Swift. So how are you handling this?
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't made any official alterations yet. But I think that, just from the standpoint that, the trust factor between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, all that stuff is really, really established. Early in the season is when you would expect a 36-year-old tight end to have his legs the best at that point early in the year. Again, the numbers, the usage numbers for Travis Kelce, I mean, they were still high. What did he average, like 8.5 yards per catch or something like that? But Patrick Mahomes will still throw him the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's definitely going to move up. We could talk about Jaylen Royals, their 4th round pick.
Chat's going crazy for Hollywood talk. They want Hollywood talk, guys.
Xavier Worthy, something to keep in mind about, he was a 21-year-old rookie. He didn't turn 22 until April, and he had a really nice rookie season. I think that, the chips kind of fell in his favor with Rashee Rice and Hollywood and, other guys going down and Travis Kelce kind of fading. But Xavier Worthy, all things considered, I think had a really nice rookie season. They left yards on the field. I mean, Mahomes missed them downfield. Mahomes has talked about like how every offseason he'll try to focus on one thing to improve upon. And this year he focused on the deep ball. And you have the fact that they were manufacturing touches for Xavier Worthy in the second half of last season, and maybe there will be a little bit more chemistry on the deep ball in Xavier Worthy's second year. I mean, you can build a pretty nice case for Xavier Worthy. Again, only 22 years old.
Yep. Yeah. Any takes from you guys on Hollywood? That seems to be the piece a lot of people are excited about as well.
The Hollywood one, I guess I'm not that bullish on Hollywood, so keep that in mind. I think this definitely like makes his early season outlook stronger for sure. But like Hollywood is an older player. He hasn't been good in a while. Like his efficiencies really has not been strong. He's not really like a big time target earner like ever. He's kind of more of a downfield guy. And Rice is coming back. Rice is going to be back, week 7, right? Like, and probably before that. So the thing that really intrigues me about Worthy is that he gets this opportunity to be the number one, and then he shows like I deserve this opportunity. I'm ready. And he's this extremely fast first round pick who broke out as a freshman. The ceiling is very high on a player like that if given an opportunity. Hollywood, I feel like you're mostly just getting a better like first few weeks. Maybe he hits your lineup when he wouldn't have one time. I don't really see that being a big boost. Like what's I don't know. We're going to end up probably way behind ADP on Hollywood now if he is seen as a huge beneficiary of this, because I don't really think he is.
He hasn't really had a good, like legit quality season since 2021 when he was a target earner. He earned 146 targets that year. But it's 2025. This is 2021.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you think about a team, catering like their offense to their personnel. And like Rashee Rice and Kelce certainly dictate a certain style of football. And that was kind of how they played at the early part of the year, right? Just methodically moving the ball down the field. And then Xavier Worthy comes into the offense, like injects all this life. They're taking deep shots. And now you're going to remove an element of the more methodical style at the start of the season. You tell me Patrick Mahomes working on the deep ball, like they're going to come out chucking here, I think it's extremely bullish for Worthy, because there's an element with him of what he showed last year where that toothpaste just can't be put back in the tube. And then if he's cooking again at the start, like, I don't know if they're going to want to go back to fully, dinking and dunking. Not saying Rice is going to be a zero, but it just opens up the floodgates for Worthy in a very exciting way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. How about what's the effect on Patrick Mahomes, though, with losing Rashee Rice, who's a guy that, over his last 17 games had over 100 catches, over 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. I have Justin Fields, quarterback 7, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback 6. It's been hard for me to put Fields ahead of Patrick Mahomes just because it's Patrick Mahomes. I have him in the same tier. I'm kind of tempted to move Fields ahead of Mahomes at this point and have Fields quarterback 6, Mahomes quarterback 7. I mean, I do think that losing Rashee Rice matters for Patrick Mahomes.
I think if Rashee Rice suffered like a season-ending injury, I would completely agree. But I'm not sure how much for the purposes of like doing Basketball Mania rankings, I don't know that it affects Mahomes that much. Like in some ways, and this is like the classic fantasy football trope, but doesn't this help Mahomes? Because I mean, I'm kind of serious. Like Worthy gets his chance now early in the season to fly. Like we're putting this on your plate. Show us you're the number one. Worthy shows that he is that number one. Rice comes back. He's awesome at getting underneath. All of a sudden, they have a lot of confidence in the passing game. We head into the fantasy playoffs, and the Chiefs are playing like the Chiefs, which is what we really want from Mahomes. We want them to get away from this Pacheco, Kareem Hunt stuff and start throwing the ball again. If Worthy has shown that he's worthy of taking on a bigger part of that pie, and then Rice comes back, we could be cooking. So, obviously, that creates some downside scenarios too, where the offense just goes super vanilla. Worthy's not ready. He gets exposed and we have this bad Mahomes season. But I don't know. I don't think it's the worst thing for Mahomes when you look at the end of season stuff.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, though, I had been kind of optimistic that he could maybe get back to the 40 touchdown range. He had 41 touchdown passes in 2022. Last 2 years has been really, he's been like a bolt. He's been barely like a fringe fantasy starter, really, the last 2 years in a row. And I'm like, this is the best looking 3 receiver set that he's had in years, with Rashee Rice all ready to go.
Yep.
With Xavier Worthy's second year, Marquise Hollywood Brown is healthy. They got Juju there now, and Jaylen Royals, they use a 4th round pick on him. They've got they've got multiple tight ends that they can use. I don't know. It kind of just takes a little bit of early season confidence from like a redraft standpoint. But I hear you on the end of season stuff. What do you think? Do you think it could positively affect Brashard Smith, who's a guy that people have been hyping up as a potential sleeper? Obviously a 7th round pick. The odds are stacked against those kind of guys. But do you think it could trickle down to help Brashard Smith in any way early in the year?
I mean, I guess it opens up a roster spot, right? So that's good.
Yeah.
That's step one. Yeah. And then wasn't Gretsch talking about how he thought there might be multiple kick returners the way the rules are this year? Because they have the one thing that worries me a little bit about Smith is that they already have a good kick returner in Remedio, and that's like his main path to making the roster. So I don't know. I would love it for it to help Brashard Smith. I think he's really fun. I'm not sure it does, because you need Smith to be like more locked in than I think he currently is to a role. If he had a role locked in, then I think it would help him.
The talking about Mahomes, and then I did pull up here. We got some charts here of kind of your ranks relative to ADP, and we're using ESPN ADP because your ranks are geared for those season-long leagues. But there's like a theme here, and it dovetails with liking Mahomes too, right? Which is essentially just like fading the recency bias of what happened last year and guys like Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield playing above expectation, and then buying in on the guys who didn't run as hot their situation, Fields, Lawrence with the touchdowns, you're way ahead on Lawrence and Fields. I like the kind of theme of how this is shaking out just on these 4 players here.
Well, you want me to talk about these guys?
No, I just kind of wanted to let it just kind of linger and just kind of let that thought just hang in the balance for about.
I like that. You want to just take a little moment of silence here?
Yeah, let's take a moment of silence for Bo Nix, who was fun to draft as a rookie, but is now overvalued. Everybody.
Well, there's some good information on this chart, and I think the chat should read it. So let's just pipe down and let them read.
So Lawrence or Fields, you have his QB7, which is most people would say it was a pretty hot, aggressive rank there for a guy whose only wide receiver is essentially Garrett Wilson. So give us the bull case on Fields.
I mean, I think he could run for 1,000 yards. He's already got an 1,134-yard rushing 8 touchdown season on his resume. You know, Justin Fields, every time that he'd face off with Aaron Glenn, who's now his head coach, former Lions defensive coordinator, Justin Fields would run all over him. I really like the construction of the Jets' offensive line. I think that they can be beastly, particularly from a run blocking standpoint. He has virtually no competition. If the Jets had used like a 2nd-round pick on a quarterback or something, then I might have concern about Justin Fields' job security. I have almost no concern about his job security with Tyrod Taylor being the backup there. I think Justin Fields is going to cook from a rushing standpoint this year, and he's going to end up being my highest drafted quarterback. I mean, assuming that his ADP doesn't really start to move. I mean, it has to really move. I have him quarterback 7. His ADP is like quarterback 12 right now. I mean, I every draft I've done, he's like been right there, and I think I've taken him in like 60, like a lot of them.
Yeah,
we have him quarterback 8. So the only guy that we have ahead of him that you don't, I'm assuming, is Kyler Murray, who we have quarterback 7.
Yes. I have a tier of Mahomes, Fields, Kyler Murray.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited about Fields. I think he's also fun to stack with Garrett Wilson, and you feel like that Garrett Wilson needs Fields to play, at least maybe streaky, but when he's at his best, to really help him hit those spike weeks, kind of be his DJ Moore from a best ball perspective. But yeah, I mean, if Fields can, what I'm hoping is that they bring in an offense that really is run based, but not to hide him like Arthur Smith's was, but instead to kind of like set him up for success the way they did with Jared Goff. So they're using play action, and they're not afraid of Fields throwing the ball, but they're just like, they're trying to keep the defense off balance with the threat of the run and the threat of Fields running. I believe in Fields in that type of system.
Do you have anyone else beyond Wilson, Silva, that you think would be the beneficiary in that offense of a kind of a post Fields breakout?
No, and I think that that's like almost the entire point, because there's not going to be enough pass volume to support any more than one guy. In this scenario, it's funny because the Jets' new offensive coordinator is Tanner Engstrand, who just ran didn't run the offense, but he was on staff for an offense in Detroit that had Jared Goff as its starting quarterback. So totally different style of quarterback. But I mean, I think that he should be able to do. They did run the ball in Detroit, and Tanner Engstrand has history with Jim Harbaugh, both at Michigan and University of San Diego. So I mean, and Jim Harbaugh ran the football. I think they're going to run the crap out of the football, and that's going to be easily the optimal way for the Jets to play based on how their roster is constructed.
The other thing with Fields is that like he wasn't really a true like dual threat at Ohio State, and a lot of his rushing value in the pros has been as a scrambler. So, I think you could have like, even if they're not calling a bunch of designed run stuff for Fields, I think he can add value that way. It's more about like, give me an offense that is moving the ball effectively, getting first downs, scoring touchdowns. Then I think we're cooking with Fields. Like Fields is such a fantasy-friendly quarterback that as long as the team is succeeding with him under center and he's continuing to start, I think we're good.
He's also only 26 years old. I mean, it feels like he's been around for 5-6 years. I mean, I think he has actually, but he's only got 4 years under his belt. But I mean, he's 26 years old, so he's still very much in his athletic prime.
Yeah, I'm in on Fields. Why do you think the market is so low on Lawrence? Gets the number 2 overall pick, drafted onto his team, gets one of the hottest offensive coordinators in the league coming over, and yet still people kind of shrug their shoulders when it comes to Trevor Lawrence.
I think they're like a little bit. There's like Trevor Lawrence fatigue to an extent. Like,
yeah,
he was super hyped. I mean, going back to his freshman year at Clemson, he was like supposed to be the next coming of like Peyton Manning, and he doesn't have a season over 25 touchdown passes in the NFL. I don't know, just the Jaguars kind of, they're one of these teams that has had offseason expectations at times, and then they don't fulfill them. And he's never really had a dominant stretch of production, Trevor Lawrence. But now, I mean, Liam Cohen did awesome things with Baker Mayfield last year. I think just throwing the football to the running backs is going to help their offense. And Travis Hunter, I know that there's debate about how much offense he's going to play. I think that maybe they'll start off like easing him in, but once they see him with the ball in his hands and making plays downfield and everything else, like it's going to be impossible for the Jaguars to keep Travis Hunter off the field at a significant rate. Maybe it's only 40 offensive snaps a game. Maybe it's only 35, maybe not 60. But, in passing situations, Travis Hunter is going to be out there, and I think he's going to be he can be a needle mover, no question. We saw Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas could be the best receiver in the league by the end of this season. I mean, people could be talking about him that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was high on Lawrence. We have him quarterback 18, and I take him a bunch. But we know that these pocket passers kind of in this group we're gonna be wrong about the order. They're gonna shuffle around in drafts. Like there's this huge window, and mostly a lot of people just want to be taking quarterbacks within that window, which Lawrence kind of closes out by ADP. It's like him and Stroud are kind of the last guys in it. And I don't think he should be one of the last guys. Do you think he's in a different tier, though, than someone like a Dak Prescott or Jordan Love or CJ Stroud, or is he just kind of the beginning of that tier?
I have like a big tier of like a bunch of guys kind of in this range. I mean, like almost 8 or 9 quarterbacks. I think I like the upside. One thing to note about Trevor Lawrence as well, under Liam Cohen last year, Baker Mayfield ran for almost 400 yards. Baker Mayfield before that had never ran for even half that many yards in an NFL season. Trevor Lawrence can run. He is a real good athlete. He's kind of like robotic, and he hasn't.
He's kind of like
what?
It's like Daniel Jones a little.
Yeah,
he's like that straight line.
Smith?
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones has had awesome rushing seasons.
He has.
But if Liam Cohen can encourage Trevor Lawrence to run to the point where he'd get 400 extra yards, I think that'd be good for the offense. I think that'd be good. Obviously, it'd be good for him in fantasy. That can make a difference. That's what, 2 or 2.5, maybe more points per game. That matters at the quarterback position, where the differentiation, especially on a week-to-week basis between the quarterbacks, you look like quarterback 1 through 20 on a week-to-week basis. It's decided by like decimal points. 2.5 points a game just off rushing would be really big for Trevor Lawrence, and hopefully he can get a big touchdown rate. I mean, that's really what we need at the end of the day. Baker Mayfield had an insane touchdown rate under Liam Cohen last year. But, all those things come together, and that's a breakout season. I'm also going to be drafting a lot of Trevor Lawrence.
I guess the flip side of that is then Bo Nix, because a lot of his rookie season value was because of some big rushing elements too. Are you expecting a pretty big regression in that department for him?
No, he just
that explain this
like
rank.
A fringe quarterback one. I mean, I don't think he's going to take a big leap, though. I
Okay.
don't think he's going to take a huge step forward. I think he'll be fine. He'll be quarterback 12.
You don't believe that Pat Bryant is the new Michael Thomas and Evan Ingram is the long-awaited Joker?
The
And that this
Joker?
offense is going to the moon?
No.
I like this comment here.
What is the Joker?
Silva sounds like if Shea Gillis was giving best ball takes. That's how he would start one of his jokes. What is even?
And I think, in fairness to Silva, he's been giving these best ball takes for years. I think Shane Gillis sounds like Evan Silva doing comedy. That's the way to put it.
Hey, I will take that. He crushed it at the ESPYs yesterday.
I saw.
I haven't seen it, but I saw the one joke.
Did you guys get offended?
Yeah, dude.
No,
yeah.
I did not get offended, Silva.
Were you offended that some people got offended? Let's talk some running backs here. We got four guys that you're higher on than the market. A nice little theme here of running back twos: J.K. Dobbins, Jaylen Warren, Jordan Mason, Will Shipley. Pat and I have been talking about Dobbins on Best Ball Breakfast a little bit. He just seems like such a smash that the market hasn't fully caught up with, his value in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that J.K. Dobbins, I wouldn't be even a little bit surprised if he leads the Broncos in carries this year. And I know that, and I know that people are excited about R.J. Harvey. I'm excited about R.J. Harvey, but J.K. Dobbins is like that reliable veteran. I think that it's like R.J. Harvey's kind of polarizing. Actually, I feel like some people really like him. Some people are like, no. I mean, at the end of the day, he was a second round pick in the NFL draft, and there's a lot of opportunity in Denver. I think that J.K. Dobbins is good. I think he's good, man, and I think that he'll be more trusted. I think he'll be more trusted by the coaching staff. And I think he's going to play a lot. I think he can lead the team in carries.
The Jaylen Warren, Pat, this is your long lost love. Is this the ultimate flop lag year for Jaylen Warren? It's the Aaron Rodgers checkdowns finally unlock all the potential.
It's my take on Jaylen Warren is pretty narrative based because with Aaron Rodgers on the field, I don't necessarily trust a third round rookie in Caleb Johnson to do everything right. I mean, I think that at some point, like Aaron Rodgers is going to get pissed off at Caleb Johnson, and Jaylen Warren is the kind of back that like does things right. He provides you a floor. We know that he's going to have a role. Aaron Rodgers will throw the football to the running backs. That's Jaylen Warren's game. And I just think that, there's some risk that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play with Caleb Johnson, Jaylen Warren's right there to eat up a substantial workload. And, Aaron Rodgers is going to want the guys that he trusts out there with him. We've seen that for years and years and years. That's why, Jeff Janis would be in the Hall of Fame today if he had trusted Aaron Rodgers.
I cannot believe Davis missed this show.
If Aaron Rodgers
had
trusted Jeff Janis. We all know that.
Pat, do you know what I just realized? Imagine if the Steelers had not let Najee walk and then he had this fireworks incident, what we'd be doing with the Jaylen Warren ADP right now.
Yeah. That is interesting to think about. It's funny because you're ahead of Warren compared to me. I have him at running back 30. So, we're a little bit ahead of ADP on Underdog, and I take a decent amount of Warren. That tends to be a spot where like I am taking a running back. So I do have a decent amount of them, but it's nice to hear Jaylen Warren optimism. That's not coming from me. I'll say that.
Jordan Mason is well. I didn't see do you have him like neck and neck with Aaron Jones, or are you even ahead with Mason?
Neck and neck.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones has had a great career. He's 30 years old. So, and the Vikings were like pretty aggressive in going to get Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, I think, is like good. The systems are similar. He goes from, Kyle Shanahan to Kevin O'Connell. I think that, again, this is a situation where Jordan Mason could end up being the lead back on a Vikings team that I think is going to be really good this year. I don't know if they'll win as many games as they won last year, but I think the Vikings are really, really good. They've beefed up their defense. Their defensive line looks sick on paper. We know they have like one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I love what they did on their interior offensive line. They just remade their interior offensive line with a first-round pick and two Colts guys who know each other, have played together, played next to each other before, and they have two of the best tackles in the league as well. I just think that the Vikings are built to have a lot of success, and I think that Jordan Mason is a guy to bet on in a backfield with a 30-year-old competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he has that goal line job in that offense, it's going to be a very nice thing there. I love that you're on Shipley.
They've like said that they want to do that with him.
They have, yeah. Mason was really efficient last year. The thing with like the Mason type of play, this is usually a back who's like wasn't that good but scored a bunch of touchdowns, and we're like, oh, he's gonna have the goal line role. Let's draft him. And it's like, well, he's not very good, but like he might be pretty good. That's the part with Jordan Mason that's kind of exciting, is that, you know, this is like a real opportunity for him. He's not just going to be a handcuff here. And he was a really efficient runner. He's 26 years old. He just turned 26 in May. So it's not like I don't know. I'm surprised how much I like Jordan Mason. Basically, it's the type of play I'd normally fade, but I
kind of am too. Surprised at how much I like him. But I'll tell you what. I mean, last year, the book on him was that he was like immature. His first couple years, they saw talent in him, but he was like not mature. And then like the light kind of flipped on for him last year. And I mean, he delivered with that opportunity with no Christian McCaffrey in San Francisco. And I don't know. I'm kind of buying in. I think he's a good runner of the ball.
Last guy here that you're above on, and this was music to my ears because I love selecting Will Shipley in drafts. It feels like people haven't fully appreciated Kenneth Gainwell not being there, and the beats seem to sound like he's going to have a bit of a standalone role as well. What's the Shipley love from your side?
Well, it's nice that they kind of cleared the deck for Will Shipley to be the clear number 2 in Philadelphia. You know, Kenneth Gainwell is gone, and Will Shipley really only has to contend with A.J. Dillon, who, you know, A.J. Dillon, we had him on our show. He's a real good guy, but I kind of need it. I'm going to leave it at that. You know, good guy. So I think Will Shipley, and I liked Will Shipley coming out. You know, Bucky Brooks thought that he was maybe the best running back in that draft. Bucky Brooks. He went up going in the 5th round. I think he got injured a little bit in his final year at Clemson. But I mean, he had some supporters, and you know, again, I like that they cleared the deck for him. Saquon Barkley had 482 touches last year, including playoffs. And I don't know that necessarily means that he is definitely more prone to injury this year, but I do know that that the number one indicator for running backs to get injured is just touch volume. And the Eagles have shown that they are willing to give Saquon Barkley an extraordinary amount of touch volume, and that increases his injury risk, and therefore I think makes his backup, who I like, more appealing and a player that I want to draft. And I've got him at 115 overall. Like, I'm going to get him in every single draft, and I'm good with that.
So Shipley was a guy in the big board and the pre-draft stuff I had a ton of, because people didn't seem to be aware that he was like the number 2 now, and the Eagles, I felt like, were pretty unlikely to invest in running back in the draft. But now he's kind of gotten away from me a little bit. The thing that I'm worried about with him, or at least I kind of like to hear your thoughts on, is if Barkley were to go down, is he like the 1A in a committee, or is he their lead back?
I think he's their, he's 206 pounds. He's 5'11", 206. So he's not like a big back, by any means. But A.J. Dillon is he's not good at the game. So,
But he is a good guy.
yeah, really a fucking awesome guy. And then,
The,
I mean, we're talking about Keelan Robinson, who I think was like a 6th-round pick of the Jaguars. They got him off waivers, and a bunch of undrafted guys. I mean, the deck has been cleared for Will Shipley. So right now, the way that you project the backfield, I think if Saquon goes down, Shipley's getting like 65, 70% of the work. And yeah, that could also happen. Philly could become a passing team, and I would be fine with that.
I think that probably helps Shipley too. Yeah,
play in the passing game. That actually makes me even more excited if they become a passing team. And
you're way less worried about AJ Dillon if they become a passing team.
Yeah,
the one thing he'd be doing is between the tackle stuff.
So yesterday on Twitter, Thorman was actually going back and forth with Jimmy Kempski, an Eagles beat on this, and he asked him, "Do you think there'd be a decent split if Barkley went down? Shipley's got solid size, blah blah blah." And then Jimmy said, Shipley's going to have the Kenny Gainwell 2-minute RB2 role for as long as he's not horrid in pass pro. Dillon should get action in the second half of lopsided games if active. If Saquon went down, I think it'll mainly be Shipley with Dillon spelling him. That was the Kempski.
Okay, all right, that's pretty bullish.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like when you have to add in the if active, qualifier for Dillon, that doesn't speak, very confidently about his standing on the depth chart.
No.
Let's see some of these running backs you're a bit lower on. We got Javonte, David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon. And again, this is relative to ESPN ADP. I guess Walker might be the one that would stand out. I know ETR on the whole, like whenever I draft with Leone, he just makes me draft Kenneth Walker every time. So maybe a little man machine take here. Why down on Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, to me, like this doesn't feel down on Kenneth Walker, even though obviously I'm a little bit below ADP here. I just, there's a new offense in Seattle, and Zach Charbonnet was a 2nd-round pick, and I just don't know how the usage is going to be distributed between Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, and I don't think that I don't think that anybody knows right now. So I'm just kind of lukewarm on the situation.
Yeah.
I don't have any reason to feel bullish that Kenneth Walker is definitely going to run with this job. I think it could be an even split. I think it could be Charbonnet. I mean, there's a new guy running the offense in Seattle.
And you're way more in line with like the underdog market. This is around his ADPs, RB17 on underdog. You have him RB20. So you're not really that far off. It's just the ESPN and the home league guys push up those starting running backs even more.
We have him RB19 as well. So I'm with you. Okay. Generally. I'm not that optimistic for this offense. I don't think they're going to be super dynamic. They seem like they just want to be like run heavy, a lot of play action, they're worried Darnold is going to melt down. They're not going to set him up for success the way Kevin O'Connell did. And so like running a lot's good for Walker, I guess, but there's also another really good running back there. And if the offense is just kind of vanilla,
the offense could be like real not good. I mean, no question. I mean, Darnold has issues dealing with pressure. Their offensive line, you look at, offensive line rankings are starting to come out everywhere. They're bottom 5 all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, right now their starting 3 receiver set is 67% comprised of Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Cooper Kupp. That's kind of terrifying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
I do.
What about, I guess David Montgomery, he's kind of interesting. I mean, again, these aren't like huge fade positions that you have relative to this, but are you envisioning maybe a little bit more of a Gibbs consolidation of touches this year?
Absolutely. I have Jahmyr Gibbs as the number 1 overall player.
Let's go.
Who was it? Greg Granos from Coach Speak Index sent me quotes from, I can't remember who it was, talking about how John Morton he's going to streamline the offense and they're going to focus on getting the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. Like that's going to be a big focus, under Ben Johnson. They were like throwing touchdown passes to 3rd string offensive tackles, making sure that everybody was happy. that's not going to be the case under John Morton. He's going to get the ball to his most explosive players. And Dave Montgomery, hey, he's at RB27. He's maybe in your flex spot, but I think this is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' time. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think by the end of the year will be considered the best running back in football. You remember how Jamal Charles separated from Thomas Jones, Chris Johnson separated from Lendale White. I mean, I think that's going to be this kind of a situation. Jahmyr Gibbs is just so much. And David Montgomery has had a really nice career. He's still a good player, but Jahmyr Gibbs is way better than him, and I think we're going to see that put into motion by John Morton.
Yeah, I like it, man. Of all the first round picks, when I click them, like there's something about clicking Jahmyr Gibbs that just feels real fucking good. Like,
it does.
Like every time. The price, you're not paying like the 102, 103 premium for it. It like the elite wide receivers have come off, and then it's like, yeah, give me fucking Jahmyr Gibbs right here. Let's talk a little wide receivers here. And you got some fun names on your the guys you're really ahead of market on, because these are some of the most controversial players, I feel like. Jameson Williams, Ricky Pearsall, Josh Downs, some of the guys debated the most on Twitter this summer. JMO, you're buying it. Dan Campbell, that drum beat just keeps getting louder and louder.
I am 75 spots ahead of ADP on Josh Downs. That's like half the top 150 right there.
And that just speaks poorly on the ESPN ADP, right? It's 160. Okay. He's like 90 on.
That's crazy that he's 160.
Yeah.
That is freaking unbelievable.
Yes.
All right, wait. Who are we talking about now?
Jameson. I wanted to hear the Jameson excitement.
Yeah, I mean, it ties in with what I was just talking about. Like, and I also think that the Lions are going to not be as good this year. They're not going to be as good this year, so they're going to throw the ball more, and that will be good for Jameson Williams because everybody worries about his targets. But I think that they're going to throw the ball more, and that's going to help Jameson Williams. I also think that Jameson Williams is freaking awesome. So
yeah, this is a legit stand for you, because even on Underdog, where he's debated ADP 46.7, that he's wide receiver 25 on Underdog. You got him wide receiver 17. That's like wheels up. Like, this dude is full blown breakout, territory.
Yeah. I mean, awesome. I think he's awesome. I've always thought that he's awesome. That start to his career that he had with like the stupid gambling suspension and whatever else, like, I don't know,
Do you worry about him at all in manage, of it still being like a little spiky, better in best ball?
No, I think it's going to get better this year because they're going to throw the ball more. He's going to get the ball more. They're going to just place more of an emphasis on getting him the ball, and like he can do crazy things with the ball in his hands.
I've been kind of skeptical of the Williams hype this year because he's gotten a lot more expensive. And I still feel like Amon-Ra is just like, his targets are so locked in. His connection with Goff is so strong. And that is like who Goff is. Goff is a guy who wants to throw 5.5 yards downfield to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like that, who he is at his core. So I worry about like how much more Jameson Williams can take on. But I do agree that like, if I'm wrong about Williams, it's not because he has like a few big spike weeks. It's because they design the offense around him a lot more. Mm-hmm. And he's just like a breakout. And you're not wondering, like, should I start Jameson Williams? So, and I actually think he's a better redraft pick than best ball pick, because like it's kind of binary. Like, he either is like the guy you needed, and then like who cares really where you took him, or he didn't take that leap, and you kind of took like a spike week solid wide receiver guy, but more of a best ball pick, and you just paid way too much for that.
What about Christian Kirk? You're actually like right in line with the Underdog market. You thinking he holds that wide receiver 3 job for most of the year and just kind of balls out with Stroud?
I think that he is the number 2 receiver for the Texans. And I think that his
shots fired, Jaden Higgins.
I think that the way that he complements Nico Collins is like perfect. I think that he can do some of the things that Tank Dell did. Definitely some of the things that Stephon Diggs did. I've always thought that Christian Kirk is like a good player. He has experience in Arizona. He was a perimeter receiver. He's going to be a slot receiver in Houston. He's been a guy who's been a punt returner, good with the ball in his hands. I thought he was a steal for the Texans to get for what they got him for. They got him for like nothing. I think like a pick swap, like a 7th round pick swap or something from Jacksonville. Jacksonville just shed his contract. Jaden Higgins, I think, is pretty interesting, but I think initially he's going to be more of a low volume role player, and Christian Kirk can be a guy who gets 100, 105 targets, something like that. I just love the way that he complements. Nico Collins is the alpha. Christian Kirk is like the slot receiver who can run vertical routes from the slot, and then Jaden Higgins, if something happens to one of the other guys, he could pop. But right now, I think he opens as like a perimeter role player.
Would you go as far as to call Christian Kirk the slot demon?
I wouldn't mind that. No, okay. I think it's all right.
That's what Hayden Winks reported, that they're calling him that.
I love that.
Are you going to raise him? How much does that move the needle for you?
Demon bump.
The demon. How big's the demon bump?
Yeah, obviously right now. Christian Kirk needs to stay healthy this year. I mean, all these do.
Hey, Silva, I know I got to pull my Levitin here. You don't get distracted with the chat. Let's stay focused here. Don't let these guys tilt you. We just want the big dog takes. Need you locked in. What were you going to say about Kirk, Pat?
Well, I actually think the chat's correct. I kind of want Evan to say slot demon.
Slot demon.
I like it.
Slot demon.
Rizzy Pearsall, was this rank adjusted post Juwan Jennings, or were you in before the cool kids got in on Ricky Pearsall?
No, it was not adjusted because I already had him like super, super high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, how do you envision that scenario shaking out as far as like the Ayuk, Pearsall, Jennings kind of merry-go-round?
So Ricky Pearsall is like an absolute alpha. I mean, he gets robbed, he gets shot in the chest, takes the gun from the guy, hits him, and gets his rollie back. Okay. That speaks to a mentality that not every player has.
I fucking love this.
First round pick. There's question marks about like every other player in the 49ers pass catcher core except for George Kittle. Ayuk is like, I don't know, when's he going to come back? Like when he comes back, he's going to be fully bought in. He has like a personality conflict with Kyle Shanahan, and he's coming off an ACL, MCL with cartilage damage. And then now Juwan Jennings, is threatening to hold out, and that's not going to sit well. And we've seen when things don't sit well with a receiver in Kyle Shanahan, like that can be a problem. Ricky Pearsall, first-round pick in the NFL draft, alpha. When they drafted him, I think that he was billed as he was ticketed. He was going to replace Deebo Samuel. We've seen some incredible seasons from Deebo Samuel. I mean, like legit wide receiver 1 stuff. Ricky Pearsall ran 4.41 with a 6.6 3-cone coming out of Florida. That is an insane 3-cone time. It's one of the best 3-cone times of all time. And now and obviously now Deebo's gone. So I don't know, man. High efficiency offense, high efficiency role, first round pick, a dog in the streets. And Ricky Pearsall to me is like a player that I want on my team.
Have you considered any nicknames for Pearsall, Silva?
I haven't yet, but I'm open to suggestions.
How about shot demon?
Oh my goodness. Let's any thoughts on Josh Downs? He's definitely a fave of the ship chaser. So you're reaching across the aisle with this one because the chasers are not going to give you any pushback there.
Honestly, the pushback is we've got a wide receiver 42. What are you so low for?
Yeah. I just as long as I'm in position to where if people are using my rankings to draft, like they're going to get them and they're going to get a real time to get them right where I have them. So I'm good with that. We can get some legislation passed here from reaching across the aisle.
I love it. How do you see the quarterback situation breaking out? Are you kind of factoring in Jones playing a bunch here?
Oh yeah, I've thought for a long time that Daniel Jones was going to be the week 1 starter. Obviously, it's going to be a matter of him keeping the job. I'm not entirely convinced that he can keep the job, but I think he's going to be the dude out of the gate, and they're going to try to design an offense that does a lot of high percentage stuff, maybe uses him as a runner. Josh Downs runs high percentage routes. Tyler Warren is a high percentage player by nature. Michael Pittman can win on those RPOs. That's how they'll design their offense, and then we'll see if Daniel Jones can keep the job. But yeah, definitely starting week 1 and beyond.
Yep. Some wide receivers you're lower on. Obviously, the Worthy stuff has changed today, so we won't grill you too much on that one. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Golden, DJ Moore. Matthew Golden's been a tough one. Us best ballers are taking stabs on him, the better and best ball profile. But I think it does make sense to be pretty spooked about him in redraft.
Yeah, I mean, didn't have a great production profile in college, right? I don't know. And then he enters an offense where, the ball distribution, it's a widespread ball distribution. I mean, they use a ton of different receivers. They can use 2 tight ends. It's not a concentrated offense, and he already had like production concerns from college. So I don't see like projecting him to have like a big statistical rookie season. He could have a nice rookie season, maybe get up there like 700 yards or something like that. But I don't think he's going to help you in fantasy.
The slight pushback I'd have, because I generally agree with the Golden and kind of the assessment of like the player, but when we look at like Tetairoa McMillan going into the Panthers, we say the targets are wide open. He can consolidate all these targets. Look, no one was able to prove that they can consistently earn targets, and so that it could be the case. Like if Tetairoa McMillan was on the Packers, I would think I'd be making that case too. Like he can actually be out there. He can play X instead of Romeo Dobbs and actually draw targets consistently, and so I wonder, the thing that worries me with Golden, and the reason I'm kind of open to mixing him in best ball, is that if I'm wrong and he's really good, they want him to be the number 1. And so then maybe he does have a really nice target share, because Jaden Reed only plays, only has like 65, 70% route participation, and Dobbs is kind of running like empty routes from the X, and they're moving Golden around the formation and getting them the ball. I think there's a ceiling to the situation if I'm wrong about how good he is.
And I would completely agree with that from my standpoint as well.
Yep. Cooper Kupp makes sense being down overall on the Seattle situation. I think DJ Moore is probably the interesting one to talk about. Are you high on Burden and Loveland and the new guys in this offense?
It's just another situation where there's just not, they've got 3 receivers that they can use. They've got 2 tight ends that they can use. They've got a pass catching running back. They've got a quarterback who, I know people in Chicago like talk about his touchdown to interception ratio all the time, like constantly. And like, they don't understand, like he was a hyper inefficient quarterback as a rookie. I still think he's going to be good, but like he wasn't good as a rookie. So you have a ton of different ways where the ball can go. I didn't like the vibes that DJ Moore gave off, period, last year. And this is one that I think it could hurt me if I'm wrong about him, because I've always believed in him as a player. He's only 28 years old, and I do think he's good. It's just I don't exactly know where the ball is going to go, and is it going to go there efficiently? I'm not real high on really. I don't think any member of the Bears offense, except I might be a little bit higher than ADP on Rome Odunze, but only by a little bit.
What's the boots on the ground? Does the Chicago media still talk about the DJ Moore quitting on the team play and stuff from last year?
Yeah. Yeah. His body language was bad all year long. It was like almost like he didn't get along with Caleb. I don't know. There's just a weird. And then that story came out during the offseason from Seth Wickersham, who's maybe the best investigative journalist in NFL media, that Caleb never wanted to play for the Bears. You guys know
Right?
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just really weird vibes around the whole thing. I think that Ben Johnson is the man. I love the coaching staff that he's put together. Dennis Allen was a great hire as defensive coordinator. They got Antoine Randall L., who I think is a dog on the sidelines. But I don't know where to go with them. I wonder, could it be a struggle year? The offensive line has been – I mean, you look at some offensive line rankings, they have them really, really high. But it's kind of put together in a patchwork manner. Joe Thuney is old. Their left tackle, it looks like they're going to start Ozzie Trapillo, second-round pick out of Boston College, who was supposed to be a right tackle. Jonah Jackson played in, 4 games last year. And then the center, Drew Dahlman, I think he was probably a good signing, but he's also a guy who's been like he had a breakout year in a specific system. So I don't think there are any guarantees on the offensive line either. I just kind of throwing my hands up on the Bears. I don't have any super strong takes.
I'm with JGFC here, who says I like playing it through the cheapest pieces. For me, that's Colston Loveland and Luther Burden especially.
Yeah.
Where are you at on those guys?
I came out trying to be real hot on Luther Burden because I thought there was a chance that he could be their number one receiver as a rookie. I mean, they took him in the top 40. I think that he was kind of misused. His college highlights are incredible. He played in the slot a lot, so maybe you could make that Amon-Ra connection. But missing all that time in the spring kind of turned me off, and Ben Johnson called him out as well.
Yeah.
So I just don't know how this stuff is going to stack up.
Do you think there's a persona he might inhibit if he is playing out of the slot that could unlock a special kind of fantasy value? Maybe a devilish type of persona? The slot demon in Chicago, Evan.
I don't know. I like Luther Burden a lot, though. Lance Zierlein had him as the number one receiver in the draft.
Yeah. So did JJ. JJ had him as his...
Did he really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Pre-draft.
And he walked it back
Pre-draft.
and he said his model had him at number 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The draft capital.
Pull some levers in his model to get Luther Burden lower.
Yeah.
He pulled the draft capital lever, which, to be fair to JJ, was pulled for him by the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
What has there been an off-season trope that drives you crazy? A conversation on best ball Twitter or fantasy Twitter? Any hot takes you need to get off your chest, Silva?
Dang, that's a good question. I don't think so.
You're just too mellowed out these days, and you don't hang out on Twitter much either.
No, I don't get involved in that anymore. It's good for the mental health to stay away from that stuff.
That's right.
Anything else you're getting into these days?
Yeah. What are your hobbies, Evan?
My kid just turned 13 years old.
Wow.
So, yeah, and she was in Atlanta with her mom's family for her birthday. So I'm going to pick her up right now, and then we're going to Cubs Red Sox tomorrow.
Nice.
And my brother's coming in town too, and then we're going to go to Fish on Saturday. I've never been to Fish.
Wow.
And my brother's been to 55 Fish concerts.
I hope you guys are seeing that show sober. I hope there's no performance-enhancing drugs involved with being fished. They're a band whose music is so good that you want the mental clarity to really take it all in and make sure you remember all of it.
And I'm to my brother, dude, couldn't you just go 4 or 5 times and that's good? And he's like, you're so ignorant. You don't understand. They never play the same set twice. They never play the same show twice. So apparently every show is different, and that's why
it's jam band. It's improvised.
Right. Yeah.
But
that's what best ballers say when their spouses say, "Why are you doing your 400th draft, babe? Every draft is different."
When you listen to,
I'm riffing, babe.
But then when you listen to like Fish songs back to back, like they sound like the same song. So,
Well, that's kind of my problem. Yeah. Like, yeah, I guess it's different.
The worst part about Fish fans is when they start telling you about like a really random set. They'll be like, 96 Madison Square Garden was sick. It's like, yeah, let me head to LimeWire and bootleg that album right now. I'll fire it up on my walk. I'm sure that was a special show. New Year's Eve, bro. Transcendent. All right. All right. Let's hit some of the tight ends here. We got Jake Ferguson and Tyler Warren, two guys you're higher on, Njoku and Kelsey.
You had to do it, didn't you?
We had to throw the Taylor Swift
evil.
on. Yeah. Jake Ferg is just such an easy click this year. What's going on? Why don't people like Ferguson?
I mean, because he's not that good, but I mean, listen, if we're going to be judging tight ends based on, girlfriend hotness, I mean, he's up there, number one. Number two, just the situation in Dallas. I think they're going to throw the crap out of the ball. If they don't have a feature back on the roster, Brian Schottenheimer was let Russ cook in Seattle. That's kind of maybe what got him driven out of Seattle. He's been on staff for throw-happy teams in Dallas. And, I mean, their entire rosters, their offensive line is going to kick ass this year. They've got like three first-round picks up front. They could have one of the best offensive lines in the league. They're going to be able to protect Dak Prescott. I have CeeDee Lamb fairly comfortably ahead of Justin Jefferson. I know that that's somewhat of a debate, but I think that the Cowboys could throw the ball 150 more times than the Vikings this year. And I think that Jake Ferguson could catch a bunch of touchdowns. And in that tight end range, tight end 8, tight end 9, tight end 10, you're touchdown hunting. And, I think that he can score a lot of touchdowns. He actually has never scored. He's never been a big-time touchdown scorer. But I think that in this situation, he can score a lot.
The other guy going in his range on underdog, like it goes Njoku and then Ferguson pretty close together. I'm just noticing this ESPN ADP for Njoku is pretty wild at tight end 7, but you're still below even underdog. He's tight end 10 there. Are you just spooked with the quarterback play?
Njoku? Yeah. And they drafted in the 3rd round Harold Fannin. That just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I mean, I think it could be the worst offensive. It was the worst offense in the league last year. Is it going to be any better this year? I mean, I think that if as long as Joe Flacco's in there, which I don't even know that he's going to start week 1, but if he does, like David Njoku's a confident fantasy starter. It's just like, is this season, are the Rails, how are they going to score points? Especially if Flacco's not in there. I think they can score if Flacco's in there, but Kenny Pickett and the rookies, you need Flacco. You need Flacco.
Yeah. Where are you at on Evan Ingram? Because just looking at Warren and Ferguson 7 and 8, I'm guessing that, and then you have Kelsey 9. So I'm guessing Ingram is tight end 10 at best.
Yeah, I think he's 14 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been kind of torn on him because it's like he could get a bunch of there are targets, that you could see him earning pretty consistently there. But at the same time, does he play like a full-time role?
Right.
So where are you at on him?
Yeah, I'm kind of. I think I had him at tight end 11 at one point, and then I dropped him. And I just, again, I don't have confidence in his role, how many targets he's going to get. I don't know. Yeah. Throwing my hands up on him kind of.
Well, and you're lower on Bo Nix too, and so that trickles down to the offense. Your Tyler Warren ranking here is bullish. I mean, he's tight end 9 on underdog, where people notoriously love, the rookie breakouts here. So tight end 7, I assume you think he has a pretty big role right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think that my confidence that Daniel Jones is going to be the Colts starter really helps in that respect. I think Tyler Warren is freaking awesome. He won a Mackey Award. I know that, that's kind of like a bit, but like Mackey Award tight ends have been great in the NFL, and Tyler Warren is a manufactured touch tight end. We don't really see that very often. He was like a legit threat as a rusher. I think that in this Daniel Jones offense, again, a lot of high percentage stuff where they're trying to, kind of de-emphasize Daniel Jones from a passing standpoint. Like, just get the ball in Tyler Warren's hands. He's racking up PPR points. Maybe they're giving him handoffs. But, I mean, he could be like the focal point of the offense. Jonathan Taylor will be the focal point of the offense. But from a passing standpoint, I think Tyler Warren and Josh Downs can be the focal point of the Colts passing offense.
Speaking of Mackey Award winners, I assume you have Brock Bowers tight end 1, but what are your thoughts on Bowers as far as like how you're approaching him compared to the really strong opportunity cost where he goes? Yeah,
I want to get him. Where do I have him lately?
Hell yeah.
From an overall standpoint, I want to say like 15. I got him at 17.
Okay. Where is
he at in terms of ADP over?
He's at 19.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you're ahead.
I want to get him. I think he's a huge difference maker, quarterback upgrade, 2-time Mackey Award winner. I think he's a pretty cool dude. You see his show with Bussin' in the Boys?
No.
I didn't.
He's a pretty cool guy.
I saw clips of Kittle's.
Those guys kind of offend me, Silva.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
What do you think of Kittle's loads? Did that raise him up at all for you?
What?
Did you hear the clip of Kittle where he's talking about how he does this thing that makes his loads huge?
Oh, I did see that. Jesus. Yeah, that was a Levitan tweet. Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
Levitan's like 43 years old, still doing the penis jokes.
I will give it to you. I just pulled up the Mackey Award. The past 10 years, the only real whiffs, Jake Butt and Harrison Bryant, and people
Jake
can
Butt
say
got
Kyle
hurt.
Pitts.
He tore his knee up, I think. Yeah.
Like multiple times.
Yeah.
And then
who
else?
Harrison Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the league, but yeah, you're right. He hasn't been a big impact player. Some people might say Kyle Pitts, but he did have a 1,000-yard rookie season that we're still hanging on to, right? Where you guys at on Kyle Pitts?
He's a sad click.
I've been drafting him a little bit with Penix.
We're ahead of ADP, or are we ahead? Let me just double check that.
I bet
no, we're dead even at ADP.
I bet Michael Penix to lead the NFL in passing yards at 30-1, and to go over 4,500 yards at 13-1. I think that's the one I like the best.
You didn't shop around. I saw him at 31-1 at another book.
No, man. You can do that. You can shop around, but I don't do
that. What about Dalton Kincaid? Someone asked in the chat here.
Yeah. He's just kind of in that.
Ever won the motherfucking Mackey Award?
No, he never did he?
No, he didn't. And he hasn't really. I don't know. I could see it happening, but I probably won't have him. Dawson Knox is a big problem for him.
He was last year for sure.
Yeah.
What have you done any drafts yet? Have you dabbled in the best ball streets, or are you keeping pure?
Yeah. I've done some BBM 6s.
Nice.
All right. What are the makeup of those squads looking like? You got? Are you heavy?
Jahmyr Gibbs. Every time. Yep. Justin Fields. I gotta get my draft volume up right now. I've been focused on content. But
while your brother is having his face melted at the fish show, maybe you can just kind of be on your phone drafting
the whole time.
Yeah. Dude, every one of these drafts is different, Drew. It's crazy. Oh man. Are you what other drafts are you looking forward to? You gonna rip some main events again?
Yeah. I'll do at least like 5 main events.
Yeah. The people want a Silva draft. We might have to connect, see if we could cook something.
Hey, let me know, man. Let me know.
Yeah, dude. Well, we appreciate you making some time on your busy media tour for the Ship Chasers today.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm a big fan, and despite what I say publicly, and thanks so much.
Means a lot, Silva.
All right.
Yeah. Anything else for you, Pat?
No, this has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to. We're in the heart of it now. We just start talking ball.
Yeah, and we're in the heart of it because we're talking ESPN ADP. I might have to
man.
put that in the show for SEO. Let's get all the normies, watching this show. We normally alienate those people, but today we talked ESPN ADP. You can check out Silva's full top 150, of course, over at ETR. They have the full columns too, showing the ADP, and you can check out the deltas and some comments in there and all of that good stuff. Appreciate everyone hanging out in the chat. We'll have ADP chasing back on Tuesday, ship chasing again next week. We'll get the full band back together. Davis went on vacation and immediately mushed Rashee Rice, which is just about perfect for Davis. So for Silva, for Pat, I'm Pete. We'll see you guys next time.